If your transmission has stopped shifting gears or is shifting erratically and you want to know the causes and possible solutions, in this video we will explain the most common failures that cause this problem in automatic transmissions, as well as the diagnostic tests and procedures required to fix them. Most common causes why the transmission stops shifting gears. Low transmission fluid level. When the transmission fluid level is low, the hydraulic pump is unable to generate or distribute the necessary pressure to the internal components that operate with hydraulic pressure, such as clutches and valves. This causes the transmission to fail to shift gears or to shift in an irregular or erratic manner. Solution. To correct this issue, it is necessary to check the transmission fluid level. Automatic transmissions usually have a fluid level dipstick. If the fluid level is low, refill it only with the fluid specified by the manufacturer, as using the wrong fluid can cause serious damage. It is also important to inspect the source of the leak. The most common leak points are drain plug. Make sure it is properly tightened. If it is loose, tighten it to the specified torque. Transmission oil pan. Inspect the edges of the oil pan. If you notice oil stains or leaks, it is very likely that the oil pan gasket is damaged. Repair procedure. Completely drain the transmission fluid. Remove the bolts securing the oil pan and remove the pan. Remove the old gasket. Clean the oil pan thoroughly until it is completely clean. Install the new gasket. Reinstall the oil pan and tighten the bolts evenly without exceeding the specified torque, as over-tightening can strip the threads. Refill the transmission with the correct fluid and verify that there are no leaks. Blown fuses. A blown fuse can cause the transmission to stop shifting gears. When a fuse blows, usually due to a short circuit, it can cut power to several vehicle modules, including the transmission control module. If the TCM does not receive electrical power, it will not be able to control gear shifts. Solution. Check all the vehicle's fuses. If you find a blown or melted fuse, replace it with one of the same amperage rating. Input and output speed sensors failure. The input and output speed sensors measure the rotational speed of the input shaft of the transmission and the output shaft. This information is used by the transmission control module to determine the exact timing of each gear shift. If one of these sensors fails, the control module will not be able to accurately determine transmission speed, causing the transmission to stop shifting or shift irregularly or erratically. Types of speed sensors. There are mainly two types: Hall effect sensors, 3 wires, inductive sensors, 2 wires. Testing Hall effect sensors. These sensors have 5-volt or 12-volt power supply, depending on the manufacturer. Sensor ground, signal output. Power supply test. Turn the ignition key to the on position. Set the multimeter to the 20-volt DC scale. Connect one lead of the multimeter to battery negative. Connect the other lead to the sensor power supply pin. You should read 5-volt or 12-volt, depending on the system. If no voltage is present, use the wiring diagram to identify the corresponding pin at the control module. Check continuity between the sensor connector and the control module. If there is no continuity, the wiring is damaged and must be repaired. Ground test. Set the multimeter to continuity mode. Check continuity between the sensor ground pin and battery or chassis ground. Continuity must be present. If not, inspect and repair the wiring. Signal test. Set the multimeter to 20-volt DC. Connect one probe to the signal wire with the sensor connected. Connect the other probe to the ground. Bring a metal object closer to the sensor tip. The voltage should switch from 5 volt to 0 volt or from 12 volt to 0 volt. If no change, the sensor is faulty and must be replaced. Testing inductive sensors. These sensors do not have a power supply as they generate their own signal voltage. Basic test. Remove the sensor. Connect an LED to the 2 sensor terminals. Quickly bring a metal object closer to the sensor tip. The LED should flash. If it does not flash, the sensor is defective. Wiring test. Check continuity between the sensor connector pins and the transmission control module. If there is no continuity, the wiring is damaged. This test is important because the sensor may be working properly, but the signal may not reach the control module due to faulty wiring. Perform the same tests on the other speed sensor if your transmission is equipped with one. Some transmissions use only one speed sensor, so you must verify this according to the vehicle model. I recommend checking out the other videos on the channel where you will learn how to identify symptoms, tests, and solutions for the main sensors and actuators in your vehicle.